How's it going, everybody? I am Donuts. If you're new to the channel, I am reacting to the entire MCU from start to finish. However, a lot of copyright problems with some videos, like the one you're watching. The reaction can't be in the actual video up on YouTube, so this is just the discussion. The actual reaction is in the description below. Click on that. You can also go on the Patreon, also linked in the description. $8 a month for full length. Picture in picture, no syncing it up. Just click the link, watch the whole full length thing. Already all, put together. Myself edited that way, rendered that way. It's all good. It's all kosher, baby. $4 a month for early access. That's it. Make sure to come back here for the discussion. Go check out the reaction. Now into the discussion. As always, I am Donuts, and I am here joined with Thermite Kitty,
Hello.
Andrew, and yeah, we're discussing Iron Man 2, the sequel. It feels so weird, having there be a sequel amongst all the other origin story movies.
Only
and
one
the third
sequel.
one of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so early on. Like, they, as you said, like, they were doing the Iron Man as a test, and clearly it went so well, they were like, alright, do the second one quickly, go.
Yeah, like, this was still in the early, mushy days of, the MCU as a concept. Like, this is about when they realized, oh, hey, this could be a thing.
Yeah, very clearly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we didn't, also get a bunch of, like, I'm glad that most of the movies in Phase 1 have been just, origin stories, it seems like.
Yeah.
But in recording this, I have seen Captain America and Thor. By the way, we should mention that. Like, I would love to be able to record these discussions as soon as I'm finished the movie, but also not really, because I like having some time to digest and think about them a little bit more.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, doing a discussion right after seeing it, I always forget stuff, and I feel like, oh man, I wish I said that, and everything. I think we'd be a lot more concise when we have some time in between.
Yeah. Of the pre-Avengers movies, a lot of people think that Iron Man 2 is the most, clearly trying to build the MCU, in the sense that,
Really?
it's not an origin story, it's more of a, here's a bunch of stuff going on, here's a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. Like, did you get that impression at all?
I mean, yeah, it definitely had a lot more S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, but I definitely didn't get that impression. It felt to me like, okay, this is... it would feel more MCU-like in the sense of it feels like a classic superhero movie, but, I mean, no, Captain America is way more the one that feels like it's trying to be the MCU connector.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Man 2 is still mostly connected to, but, I mean, when I watched it, it was the third one, so it was barely connected to Hulk,
Yeah.
So, not really like it was trying to build much. I mean, it was trying to build S.H.I.E.L.D., but, I mean, all the movies have done that, in a way. But, yeah, so I don't know. I didn't really get that vibe, no. Not particularly.
Okay. So, the movie starts off with, Ivan Vanko, talking to his dying dad. We get this whole, I guess, villain origin for him. How did you feel about him as a character?
Okay, as just, his personality on screen and everything like that, he's very fun to watch. He is very entertaining. As, a villain, as motivations and stuff like that, the whole, I mean, it is very fitting because it was his father and Tony's father, and then now it's the two sons squabbling. But, I'm never that much into the thing of, oh, your dad did this, so now I'm going after you.
Right, it's...
It does paint him more as a, he's doing it in revenge, as opposed to any real logic behind it or reasoning for why he would want to go after Tony specifically. It really is just a final fuck you to life, really, to society and the world.
Yeah, and they really do portray him as an underdog, as this guy who has basically nothing, just these plans for the arc reactor, and he makes it in the middle of Russia with nothing to work with.
Yeah, it is great because he is a great parallel to Tony Stark, because again, Tony built the whole mini arc reactor in a fucking cave, by himself, and now this guy is doing something similar, not quite as impressive, but still, it's that same sort of thing of being able to build this amazing technology in a secluded environment by himself with very little to work with.
Yeah.
The whole sequence of him building it was almost identical to the sequence of Tony building the mini arc reactor.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a very clear parallel.
Yeah. So I definitely dig that, and just, him as an actor is he sells it very well, especially the accent. I love his accent. Like it's thick, but it's not too thick.
Yeah, I think they hit a really good balance. Like it does sound like Russian is his first language, but at the same time, it's not unintelligible.
Yeah, they can run into that a lot of times with some characters having like a super thick foreign accent, where yeah, you kind of need subtitles sometimes. But yeah, and I just love the gag of it. Like, my favorite line for the entire movie is probably Justin just saying, like, I don't know if you know this, but I don't speak Russian. It's the classic, just like continue to speak Russian the entire time, even though like it's always like clearly under his breath, like he doesn't want to know what he's saying, but it fits his character very well. Again, nothing he's doing seems to have a point. It's just a fuck you.
Yeah.
So, just constantly like speaking under his breath to him all the time fits very well. And it's again a very cool parallel to Tony.
Yeah. Speaking of parallels to Tony, what about Justin Hammer? He's sort of the like secondary villain, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm glad they at no point tried to make him intimidating.
Oh yeah.
Like he fits a very similar role to Obadiah in a sense. Not quite, because Obadiah took it into his own hands, while Justin sort of like he was the almost exact opposite of Obadiah's approach to the thing. But yeah, he yeah, it's just they're both children in different ways. Like I'm talking about Vanko. Like he's the kind of person who's trying to get revenge on Tony for petulant reasons, and so is Justin at the same time, but in very different ways. While Vanko is like playing both sides to his advantage and coming out as like this third party, and Justin is just trying to get help because he can't do it himself.
Yeah. Plus, like Vanko is the I guess in tech terms, he's the disruptor. He's the guy who comes in out of nowhere from a very obscure place, and he's got something that's as good, maybe better than the thing that's, all the rage in the current tech scene. Whereas Justin's just sort of the guy who has a big company, and they don't really make anything that's good, but he's got money.
Yeah, I do wonder if Hammer Industries will be a more a thing later on down the line, but I can't imagine so after a catastrophe like that. I don't know who's gonna want to fucking fund them after that.
No PR is bad PR.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong there.
At the very least, they have weapons. You know that.
Yeah, you have weapons that can be hacked and used against you, but sure. Although, just speaking of Vanko as a character, like, he was totally just like, alright, did my thing, now I'm gonna die in prison. Like, it wasn't even like a, haha, I killed Tony and I won. Like, his whole thing was just like, haha, now the world knows you're weak.
Yeah. You can't really beat Vanko. You can stop what he's trying to do, but he's okay with, getting halfway there.
He is a terrorist.
He is.
Like, he is a great example of a terrorist villain. He wasn't the super big bad that killed the villain or anything like that. He is just instilling terror.
Right.
It's just like, I am just going to do it to be the stepping stone for the next. And it's true. I imagine it's probably going to be a thing going forward in like Iron Man 3 or even in the future of just like people being like, well, yeah, but that fucking random Siberian guy who built this thing in a, shitty cave could almost take out Iron Man, so I probably could too. It definitely is going to instill that idea in people.
Yeah, and the government's already looking at the Iron Man tech. Like you said in your reaction to the very first one, like, what, why doesn't the government step in? Like, this seems real weird. Why are they just letting him fly around and be Iron Man with this thing that's very clearly weaponizable?
I didn't say, I said, like, I can't imagine that they will. Like, that hadn't really happened yet. It was the first time that we're seeing it.
True.
But, like, yeah, at the end I was like, I have to imagine that he's going to be connected to the military in some way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I talked about it a lot in my reaction, too, of, like, because it's a movie, you want to think one way, but, if it is real life, I kind of agree with the judge a little bit.
Yeah. Especially because, like, Tony doesn't put any guns on the Iron Man suit. Like, he has repulsors, though, and that's close enough. That's arguably more powerful than using traditional weaponry. Like,
exactly. It's yeah, it's still, it could be classified as a weapon still, I
Yeah,
think.
and I mean, as you said, like even if he himself does not want to use it as a weapon, like he's putting the tech out there. Like the tech exists, people are going to replicate it. There's no putting that back in the box now that it's out there.
And it might be better to have a safer version that you know works as opposed to people trying to make replicas and it being more dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, Vanko had he had the plans. He could do it relatively safely. If some kid in his garage wants to be Iron Man, he's not going to do it safely.
Yeah. You don't want people that don't know what they're doing trying to make it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous.
Hmm.
Like, it's come up in other shows, like, when they'll adapt something from, like, a manga into an anime, and they have to, like, or like, Breaking Bad or something like that,
Hmm.
or, like, Doctor Stone specifically, where there's actual exact, percentages of these ingredients that they're doing to make things, and they'll change that for the anime, which feels more dangerous to me. And, like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel with this suit, too, of, like, you know, it might be better to get the actual stuff into the military so they're not doing what happened.
Yeah.
Like, if he actually did give them the technology, ostensibly, all that shit probably wouldn't have happened. I mean, but at the same time, then they would have the suit. It's a catch-22.
Hmm.
But, like, I'm glad that's kind of what this was about. Of, like, it was all about that very question in the beginning of, like, what's better, the military having it or not? And it's still, it's still iffy. Who knows?
Yeah.
You can never really know until we do. And oh no, that's not gonna happen.
I mean,
But I mean, he could make, lesser versions. Like,
mhm.
but again, it's still just, it's. I don't know if you would want that in the hands of the military.
Yeah. Or even, if he does something like Iron Man, if he says, "All right, you can have this as a power source, but I'm not, you can't use it to fuel tanks or anything." Well, what happens when ISIS grabs some of those tanks and decides, "Hey, let's jerry-rig this"?
Yeah, but I mean, like at the same time, they already were doing that. Like
Right.
before anything, that was the whole first movie of them going, "Ah, I'll take it and make another one."
Yeah.
Like no matter what, if you're going to fight somebody with something, they can just take it. No matter what, period. So like the idea of it getting into the enemy's hands, out of the you don't even think about it because it's gonna happen no matter what. So it's not worth thinking about.
Yeah. Like it's a powerful theme in Iron Man because it's so tech focused, but I mean Hulk did essentially the same thing.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I mean it yeah, I think the argument of but you don't want it to get in the enemy hands is just ridiculous because it's going to no matter what, and it already has.
Yeah.
So Tony using that as an argument, I don't buy it all. Total bullshit.
Yeah. He, a lot of his arguments come from a place of charisma. Like his
Oh
arguments
yeah,
aren't the greatest by themselves, but he knows how to work the room. He knows how to work the entire court.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but that is how it works sometimes.
Yeah.
Like even if you probably is in the wrong and everything like that, if you can win over the jury, then.
Hmm.
But
So,
yeah, did you want to move on to something else?
yeah, we talked a little about how fatherhood is, or not fatherhood, but like Vanko and Stark getting their respective powers, quote unquote, from their fathers was sort of a theme. How do you feel about Howard Stark in this movie specifically?
Yeah, I mean, in this movie, he definitely comes across more as I really don't know how else to put it. As he comes across very Christian Shepherd. He comes across very, he is trying to help, but he's very bad at being a dad.
Yeah.
He is very good at being a businessman, at being a professional, and those kind of people, at least in media and stuff like that, tend to not be great dads.
Hmm.
So he's very cold and ignoring, even if he had good intentions in mind. And I do like again the relationship or the mirroring between Vanko and Stark. It is probably the best part of the whole movie.
Hmm.
Their relationship with their father being in two very different ways, with
Yeah.
Vanko seemingly extremely respecting his father and hating everything that happened to him. Just for everybody, not even just Stark, but I guess the whole butterfly effect happened because of Stark.
Hmm.
But then yeah, and then Tony's just like trying to distance himself from his father as much as he possibly can. it's very interesting, you know.
Hmm.
At times they are mirrored, and then at times they can also be exact opposites in different ways.
Yeah, it's a powerful theme.
Yeah, but yeah, Howard in this movie, I really just pictured as being. I mean, like, and I still do. I think he's just a very he's a great businessman, very cold to his son, and I mean, we'll talk a little bit more in Captain America, but I do
Mhm.
think it's interesting that his personality that we see in like the DVD extras of Iron Man 1 is very different from the personality we see in Captain America. So it seems like he really changed a lot when he got older.
Yeah, there's something there. Like, again, in Iron Man 2, from what we've seen, he very much was into the idea of, power and of technology, but
And
not,
being like an arms dealer and stuff.
yeah, he did not really want to be an arms dealer from what we've seen.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of what he did anyway. Again, I
Yeah,
think it might just be the money thing.
yeah.
As we read up in the first movie. You need money. So you gotta please the people.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about him. Still.
fair enough.
Where do we move in from there? Well, what's kind of next?
I guess the next thing I kind of want to talk about is, Tony's alcoholism. Or at least the fact that, he gets super drunk, he smashes up everything. He needs to be, like,
Yeah.
put in his place by his best friends. Like, they do a good
I didn't really see it as alcoholism. That's interesting. Like, I mean, I just took it as him drinking a bunch.
I guess I
But
wouldn't call it
like,
alcoholism. Like, I will say, to be transparent, in the comics, he's like, he goes through alcoholism. But in
okay.
Iron Man 2, I don't think that is exactly the case. It's
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like
yeah,
drinking out of frustration. Like, we haven't seen him being dependent on alcohol throughout any of the rest of the movie or
yeah,
the first one at all.
yeah. But
So, like,
it's a moment in a right after he tries to explain how it's fine, he can be trusted with this power. We see that no, it's probably not great to have one guy that has the power of
yeah.
Iron Man. Like, if there wasn't a second suit,
Especially him.
if there wasn't a second suit, things could have gotten a lot worse.
Yeah, very, very true.
Mhm.
Like, he is extremely irresponsible. He is as much of a child as Vanko is.
Yeah, they're just different children, as you said.
Yeah. And yeah, it was, really nice seeing Rhodes come in there and fucking put him in his place in a worse suit.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, it really goes to show you, like, his state of mind at that moment. Because, like, it's tech versus tech. The suit was better. The only difference was just the state of mind he was in.
yeah. Plus, Rhodes is a soldier. Like,
Yeah,
he's had some
of
training,
course.
whereas Tony's, he's a tech guy.
I mean, but again, to be fair, that was the first time Rhodes wore the suit. You can say he's a soldier, but I don't think he's trained with a mech suit. Whereas at least Tony has for a little bit.
True. I guess that makes it a bit more even. That Tony knows how to use the suit, whereas Rhodes is more like he knows more about combat though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everything you know about combat goes out the window when you're using fucking sonic blasts in a mech suit and flying around, though. I feel like everything you know is useless.
I wouldn't say it's useless. It's still a humanoid body fighting another humanoid body.
I suppose. He's not fucking throwing him or shooting a M16 at him.
Fair, fair.
But, yeah, I mean, the fact that just, like, for the second half of the movie, his entire house is just in shambles. Like, it's completely destroyed. And, like, even as he's building the laser energy source thingamabob, the MacGuffin, like, he's just continuing to destroy his house, and, like, he's just, who cares? We'll just build another one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you would rebuild that thing at this point. Just level it to the ground and start from scratch.
He's got the money. He can just buy a different house.
Yeah.
Speaking a little about the suits, we've started to see some branching with the suits. In Iron Man 1, it was more of a direct path for the most part until Ironmonger, the villain suits. But here we're seeing some like actual diversions.
Wait, Ironmonger? Is that the big boy one? Is
Yeah,
that what his name is?
That's the big boy.
Is that just from the comics, or do we get the name in the movie? Like on the paper or something?
I think it shows up like as an Easter egg, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this movie...
Seemingly a reoccurring thing in these movies. Like, all the villains do have, you know, proper names or proper titles, but they're just, like, really offhandedly mentioned.
Yeah, like, to set the tone for the MCU, they really didn't want to do the superhero, supervillain thing of, oh boy, I'm a villain and I'm gonna give myself a wacky name. But they still wanted the wacky names. They just kind of get slipped in.
I mean, the suit thing makes sense to have a name, though.
True.
I mean, I guess not like a name. Again, the other ones were just like Mark IV. But I mean, he calls himself Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd be that weird for Obadiah to be like, I'm calling this one Biggie Boy.
Iron Boy.
Iron Man. Anyway, yeah, like we're definitely, yeah, it's becoming less of a like upgrading suits of the Iron Man suit and more of just like different kinds of mechanized suits in general, even to the point of just drones essentially.
Yeah.
Which is cool. and makes sense now, like if something similar can be used for the military, not something that bad that can be easily hacked and made by, you know, a terrorist.
Yeah. I mean, like,
but something made by Tony that I think it probably should be manned, honestly.
yeah, like drones in general are, you know, they're worrisome for different reasons, and especially if you have a drone this powerful with a essentially, you know, super powerful cold fusion reactor.
Yeah, like, and a drone is even though I said it's a terrible argument, a drone is going to be easier to get in the hands of somebody than a just suit that somebody can wear and leave in.
Yeah, like you can take a manned suit and turn it completely offline, whereas with a drone there has to be some sort of connection.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
like,
yeah, I'm very interested in seeing. I have no idea what Iron Man 3 is going to be about. You know, like Iron Man 1 is the origin story, and it is about the idea of like, I mean, it touches on the idea of like, should we give this suit to the government? But it's way more just about the idea of Tony deciding if he wants to continue being a arms dealer or not.
right?
Like, that's the main thing. It's more about like weapons and stuff. Whereas this is more about, you know, should we actually give it to the government or not, and what is the dangers of each. And so for the second or for the third one, I have no idea what we're gonna do. I mean, we might do the opposite of like, okay, well now Tony's given stuff to the military, and we'll see the other side of that.
Possible.
But other than that, I'm not sure what the third one could be about, really. Maybe him delving into a lot more stuff with his father, but I'm not sure in what way. Because again, we've kind of already touched on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what's left.
We have, but you know, there's always room for more potentially.
Yeah, there's always room for more of anything, honestly. But as far as new stuff, you know,
yeah,
I'm not sure like a theme or whatever could be of the third one.
Actually, do you think we'll see Rhodey more in the third one, or do you think his time to shine was more in the second one?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we'll probably still see him, but I don't think he's gonna have like a getting in the suit and fighting again moment. I think this was the moment. Again, as they said, Iron Man doesn't have a sidekick. This was a nice, you know, one thing, but I don't think it's gonna be a reoccurring thing.
Okay. By the way, I guess as a bit of trivia, did they give a villain name for Vanko, and did they give a name for Rhodey's suits?
I'm sure they did, and I don't remember. I'm almost 100% sure they did for Vanko, but I cannot remember what it was.
Okay.
I also feel like the whole bird thing had to have been a comic thing, because they really didn't touch on that at all.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted... I thought it was going to be a really interesting twist or something with his character with the bird, but they really didn't go into it at all, other than just, he likes a bird.
He sure does like a bird. So, Vanko's name was Whiplash, in reference to, you know, the whips.
Okay, yeah.
And Rhodey's suit is known as the War Machine.
Okay. I don't think I would have even taken that as a thing. Like, I just thought that was a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is a war machine.
That's definitely how they use it. It's just, you know, it's also a name.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's going to be a recurring thing of just being like, hey, did you catch the name? Nope. Usually because it's like, didn't even know that was supposed to be the name. Just thought it was a thing.
I can't wait until Phase 3 when you're like, oh, so is this character's name Butthole in the comics? Because someone calls him Butthole.
Oh, I love it. Cannot wait. Now I'm gonna be so attuned for it and like just catching the wrong things constantly.
Mhm.
Oh, his hero name must be that asshole.
He's some kind of guy.
Oh, God. I mean, like, I think the Abomination was a pretty, like, clear-cut one.
Mhm.
That one was just like, he's the Abomination. I mean, like, I don't even think they said, it was just, I don't even think they said it as a title thing. It was just very obvious, I think. In the way they said it. Even though they probably just did say, you know, he's like some sort of abomination.
Yeah, there's a way to make it extremely clear, and then there's a way to do it where, you'll notice it if you're looking for it, but if you're not, it's just literally a thing they said.
Yeah. Like, again, in the consultant, they say Blonsky. They don't say, like, oh yeah, they want the Abomination in the Avengers. Which, you know, I wonder if that does mean that Blonsky can untransform, because the fact that they're still saying Blonsky as opposed to the Abomination, if he couldn't untransform, it'd be really weird to just keep calling him Blonsky.
I mean, he's still a person.
Is he? He doesn't seem like he can... Like, he seems he's way, way less controlled than the Hulk.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even if someone is out of their mind, they're still a person. Like, if you go to the hospital and someone's freaking out, you're not like, oh, that person, that's an abomination. I'm not going to use his name.
No, but if they had no facet of the past person, then I would, you know, the Abomination does not seem to, you know, have any sort of pre-personality like the Hulk does, you know. He just seems to be completely a monster that is, you know, unhinged.
Okay,
Like,
I can see your
logic. He goes
logic.
after the Hulk, but he doesn't, like, just go after the Hulk, if I remember. Like, doesn't he... Oh, no, I guess we don't ever see him, like, trying to do anything else. I mean, like, Hulk is definitely the clear threat, so it would explain why he's going after him, but,
Yeah.
I guess there's nothing to insinuate other than the fact that he doesn't really articulate anything. Like, not that the Hulk says anything, but, like, the Hulk just, in the way he does things, feels like he has intent behind them. Well, the Abomination never felt like he had intent behind anything he was doing, other than just, you know, Abomination want kill. So, I don't know. I guess it depends. I'd have to see more of him, which I don't know if we ever will.
Who knows?
I hope so. They bring him up with the consultant, which again could just be a thing of like, you know, he was already in the military, so of course the military would want him in the Avengers. But they could be bringing it up because he might come back at some point, which would be dope. Like, he is canonically still around, not in, like, prison or anything, apparently. He's still around, not, you know, to be used, possibly, in some way. He could be an ultimate weapon, like, well, fuck it, we're gonna have to send out the Abomination now, too. Which could be dope. If you just, like, you know, again, airdrop in the Hulk and the Abomination at the same time.
Yeah.
But then, I guess he would... Alright, Flopsky, now we need you to work with the Hulk.
I mean, I don't know if they'd be like, hey, this is your buddy now. You're gonna have to tag team this threat.
Yeah, they're gonna high five and they're gonna fucking defeat the villain. I can't wait for the Hulk and the Abomination to dab as they defeat Godzilla. But back to Iron Man 2.
Yes. So, Tony's new assistant, Natalie Rushman, also known as Natasha Romanoff, she gets some action.
She does. You know, she's interesting, but as with Agent Coulson, I would like more of them. Agent Coulson, I really like. He's such a dick. He's got way more of a personality than she does. She's just kind of like, she's the cool badass female, but like that's about all she's got going for her so far. In Iron Man 3, she might have more going on. Just like in Iron Man 1, Coulson was just a guy. He was even less of a character in Iron Man 1 than, you know, anyway. He was just barely more of a character than Happy was in Iron Man 1. Like, again, all he just said was like, we didn't have a meeting. What happened to the meeting? Now's the meeting. That's it. So, I assume, yeah, Natalie, or Natasha, rather, we'll get some more screen time. Not any more screen time, but just more of a personality focus in this one.
Right.
Because right now, again, like, her personality, I guess, is just that she is very good at being a spy. Like, she is very good at keeping her emotions close to the chest. You know, that's why we don't really see much of her personality, because she was a spy for most of the movie.
Yeah.
And even after we found out, she, again, is just keeping most of her emotions close to her chest.
Yeah, she's a competent spy, and she was in the movie to give us some cool spy stuff, instead of just armor fighting armor all the time.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, like, Coulson I'm definitely enjoying more, but, he is just, boy, he's such a fucking asshole.
Yes.
And I'm glad that he's carrying over from, like, almost every movie, pretty much. I was not expecting that. I was expecting us to just see, like, a bunch of agents. But, clearly he's pretty goddamn high up.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting, like, they're all just agent, you know, their last name or whatever. So, like, you really don't get an idea of the hierarchy at all.
Yeah.
I like, other than the one scene where they're talking about, like, you know, what's your clearance level? Level 6 or what? There's a level 7. So, like, it clearly is, like, he is really high. He's probably, like, upper echelon just below, you know, the people who, you know, I assume Nick Fury and Carter are, like, the only probably two above him. Maybe there's more, but so far that's, you know, all I'm assuming.
Yeah, that makes sense right now.
Yeah.
Nick Fury doesn't really do very much this movie,
Carter's
does he?
Probably dead. But who knows? Anyway, what were you saying?
Nick Fury, does he even do anything in this movie apart from showing up and handing over the work that Howard did?
I mean, yeah, Nick Fury hasn't really done much across any of the movies. He's just been there. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. He just comes around to just say, like, yo, let me talk about your dad. Here's the shit. You got this, right? Nope. Okay, well, good luck. And leaves. And then they have the whole talk at the end there as well. But I mean, yeah, he's just kind of the guy to talk and have a, you know, very charismatic personality in S.H.I.E.L.D. But he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Yet, at least.
I guess at this point, Agent Coulson really is the most active person, because you see him doing a variety of things.
I mean, like, we don't really see him do a lot. We see him go around a lot and give orders. But, like, I think that's what, you know, that's why he seems so high up, is because he's not doing anything himself. He's just giving orders to people. But also, at the same time, I can't believe that he is in level 7, and he was like, you know, oh, I'd like to see you try and get out of this house, and he just gets out so easily. He didn't even notice he was gone. Because he was also supposed to be like, you know, I'm going to make sure you're at this house. By the way, going to go on a coffee run. You want any? Like, what? They're so lax about this security.
Yeah, I mean, he's high ranking, but he's also just a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it more in Thor as well, but in Thor, he also just, you know, Thor just sneaks the fuck in there. They're very bad at security.
Yeah.
Like, they're clearly not the FBI. Or the CIA or anything like that. They are definitely amateurs at this.
So, the end of the movie has a teaser in which they find a mysterious hammer. I sure bet you can't guess what that is.
I did like Joe's getting that teaser as opposed to like anything else, because at the time, you know, and I said it in my reaction, but I have no idea what Thor even looks like or anything. Or had no idea. But, yeah, so I'm glad they kept it subtle enough like that. And it was also the only one where we got like a tie into the next movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the only one so far.
Are there any after credits that do that? I can't really think of any.
I don't think so. No, most of them are just tying into the Avengers in general, which I guess you could say is tying into another movie, but
yeah, but
none
it's more
of them tie in to another non-Avengers thing.
Yeah, like this is a very clear. All right, you know what you're watching next. Go watch Thor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very clear. I'm surprised they didn't do that more often for a, so you don't have to go find out what the order is by looking it up online all the time. But yeah, what else is there to talk about in this movie? I think we talked about pretty much everything. Oh, Happy. I dig Happy as a character. I'm so glad that he's gotten way more screen time. I mean, I didn't even know he's a fucking character in Iron Man 1. I wrote down his name and I was like, well, I guess that was just a comic book reference or something. But yeah, I love having a driver in a series where the main character can just fly.
Mhm.
And I hope he continues to stick around as maybe even like a driver for some Avengers characters that can't fly.
Yeah, like he has a niche. He can be useful, even at the very least as a confidant.
Yeah. And hey, I would be totally happy if he got included into S.H.I.E.L.D. in some way. Because, again, he is a pretty huge tank. Just without the firepower.
Oh yeah.
But if they trained him, they taught him, he could probably have potential. I doubt they'll do that, but I'd be down for it if they did.
Mhm. What about Pepper?
Pepper, I dug a lot more in this movie. Again, I think, I mean, like, I've just, now that we have the pathos behind them and their relationship, and we also have her not being the CEO, it creates, and her not being, well, actually, is she his assistant again? I think they said that she was, right?
I believe so.
Or they at least implied it.
Yeah.
So there's still a weird dynamic there, but I'm totally on board for it now. And in Iron Man 3, if we're gonna be focusing a lot more on the relationship, that could actually be a big themality of it, as him trying to balance his actual relationship, and trying to stick with a relationship, not sleazing around and stuff. Because even in this movie, he was already doing that.
Yeah.
So that could be the themality of the purpose, I guess. The plot of Iron Man 3, or at least the B plot of it. Him focusing on his relationship side of things.
Okay. In terms of threats, in Iron Man 1, we got someone else using a armor, kind of like the Iron Man suits. In 2, we got both someone else using a reactor and someone, just hacking suits. If there's a new, unique threat for Iron Man 3, like, what can you think of for that?
If we're still going to go on the tech side, the only thing I can think of is that it will be something like Iron Man. The first one, we got big, beefy bodysuit that had, huge guns on it. And the second one was whiplash kind of stuff. It was very acute to take out Iron Man. I think where we have to go from here is someone to build a suit to rival Iron Man.
Okay.
Like, other than that, I'm not sure what else we can go with. We already had the big giant thing. We've already had the specific thing. So, where do you go now except for the exact thing?
Right.
Or it could just be him going up against someone with actual supernatural powers and having to, do supernatural versus, technology.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. It's been so not a thing in Iron Man, in the self-contained movies, that it would definitely come out of left field, but it's not like it's, it's all in the same universe, so
Yeah.
it's not like it would be that out. It feels weird to say it would be out of left field, just because it, I'm not saying each of the movies, but they do. Each of the movies have sort of their own sort of, like, tone to where it would feel weird if there was magic or not magic. Really, just Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, even though it exists, it's been so focused on technology, I mean, they would probably spend a lot of time, maybe the cold open, really building up the fact that the villain's going to be using magic. And that would be a great introduction for Tony then into the Avengers as well. Well, actually, no, it's not, because it's taking place after the Avengers, so never fucking mind.
I guess that is important to
note.
note.
Already, yeah. I guess that is a good point. So I guess it really wouldn't be out of left field at all, because he's gonna just be around tons of fucking supernatural shit in Avengers.
Well, I guess since we're still pre-Avengers, do you think that the movies are going to be more or less watchable as a sequence without watching the Avengers movies? Like, do you think you could just watch the Captain America movies or just the Iron Man movies and have them all be sort of like, like that, that's the Iron Man series? Or do you think the Avengers movies are going to be, like, vitally necessary?
I don't think it'd be vitally necessary, but I would already say that you can't watch Iron Man. Well, not that you can't, but like that you shouldn't watch Iron Man, 1, 2, and 3 without watching the Avengers. Like Iron Man 1 already is, hinting towards the Avengers. That is enough for me to say that yes, it's a part of it.
Okay.
Like even if you just, you didn't care about any of the others, you would still, I would say, watch Iron Man 1, 2, Avengers 3, and then all the other Avengers, I assume.
Hmm.
Like, and I feel like that would go with all the movies, really. To me, anyway. Like,
Okay.
I'm sure plenty of people are going to say, like, well, yeah, if you just don't watch the end credit scenes, then you can, yeah, sure. But, like, I'm the kind of person who's like, nah. I think it's absolutely necessary to watch the Avengers if you're just going to only watch the Iron Man ones anyway.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think that's it, though. I think I don't really have anything else specifically to say.
Yeah, same. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything? I don't think so.
I asked everything I really wanted to ask.
All right. Then we'll see you guys for the next discussion for Thor. Until then, get the fuck out of here.
Bye.